I'm picking my teeth. Hey, great Monday morning. It is a amazing morning in the city of Brownsville, and it's always a great morning when you got Doctor McHale.
Dr. G.F. McHale Scully. It's a lie. Anybody who believes that I'm a doctor, you're stupid. Okay? But when you have your own publication, you can write whatever the hell you want. Okay?
Call
I
yourself.
mean,
You call yourself
I'm
the king.
Kamala Harris.
You call
Really?
yourself. You call
A lot of
yourself.
people don't know I'm black. Okay? I look white, but I'm black.
You call yourself the king of all local social media, and
The blog father, no, bro?
the blog father.
The blog father. In fact, talking about bloggers and podcasters, our good buddy Captain Bob, he's been demoted to being a private. The guy, as usual, is completely out of control. So we just want to send un cariño, Bob. Get your head together, pobrecito. Deja de tomar y fumar y
Sodiar.
híjole, pobrecito.
It's tripping because he he went after Brownsville Live Tech something podcaster Daniel Salinas. Went after him because he took a picture of himself in the pool where you see his shoulders and his head, and you're going like, and we wanted to equate that to his lunatic ranting, shirtless, puffing away in front of his daughter and using all these cuss words and stuff. It's not the same thing. But I kept him, Bob. I think he's lost it.
You think he's lost it?
I suspect. I suspect.
You're in a minority when you say you think he lost it. The majority would tell you that he has lost
it.
The only thing I can say, Bob, stop it. You're only making a fool out of yourself. And when you compete against us, it's like a great football team playing Lopez High School. The score's going to be 70-0. It's okay, so you're not going to win, bro.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Again, Captain Bob has been a long-time friend, but sometimes you can't help friends out when they self-destruct.
Well, I mean, he's like a Donald Trump. In fact, he even calls himself Brownsville's Donald Trump. And, we don't often talk national politics, but what was your impression of the two conventions and where do you see those races going?
Call me crazy. I still think that Donald Trump is going to win this next presidential election. I mean, the problem with and I think a lot of people have been posting about this. The problem with the Democrats is that they're coming out and saying, "Hey, we're going to fix this. And we're going to fix this on day one," and everyone's saying, like, well, "You're already in office. Start fixing it now. Why do you have to wait till day one?" And I think a lot of things that they're going out there and spewing is just, one of the things, and we'll talk about this in a little bit because when we refer to the Cummings transfer over to the Glassport Zoo, is like, just don't bullshit the people, People don't want to be bullshitted. And just tell us the truth. Tell us, what, basically Biden's fault. And, Kamala, was left in the shadows. And now, I'm gonna come out and, it's going to be my administration. It's not going to be the Biden administration. I mean, you have to separate from Biden no matter what.
Well, I disagree with you. When you talk about telling the truth, I mean,
oh, well, yeah.
Has Trump ever told the truth?
No, of course not.
I just think it's enthusiasm. I think the Democrats have the enthusiasm. One politician said, whoever gets rid of the old guy first is going to win. And I just think people want a change. They really want a significant change. They don't want 4 more years of Trump, okay? The man just wears you out. He's like this weather we have. It just wears you out. In fact, talking about the weather, I just came back. The reason I look so bad is because I've been drinking nonstop for the last 10 days.
Qué raro.
And yeah. Usually I stop after 9. But I was up in Austin and San Antonio visiting my 2 youngest sons, and the heat up there, it just smothers you. When I came back, I thought, God, it's just not that bad here, comparative-wise. We get the nice breezes from the Gulf, but up there, the heat is smothering. It's like sitting in a frying pan. Talking about sitting in a frying pan, things are pretty hot with the BISD right now. All the horses are in the stalls. I'm calling them Well, first of all, we all know Carlos Elizondo.
Yeah.
His history is as bad as Trump. It really is. He has the same personality. He's been sanctioned by his own board. He was fired as fire chief. He was fired as a fireman. He cheated on a test to improve his standard. He had that famous tape. Can you imagine someone, even you know, regardless of what they're talking about, the guy's secretly taping you. And now he's put together a slate. They're calling themselves the Devil's Disciples.
The devil's.
And he's in the role of Satan. And we can go through these races individually. But I tell you what, I taught and coached in the BIC for 40 years. And if I had to work under someone like Carlos Elizondo, it would be very depressing, because the man, he claims to know everything, but the bottom line, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. All he wants is power. And he's put together his group, the Devil's Disciples, and they want to take over the district. And one of their candidates has clearly said he wants to fire Jesus Chavez, Dr. Jesus Chavez, who, in my opinion, is one of the best superintendents we've ever had, a product of the South. We're always complaining that our best people are leaving, right? Yeah. Our best people are leaving. So we finally get someone who represents the best, and they want to fire him.
Someone who came back.
Yeah, someone who returned to our
yeah, that was an
community.
That was actually an ongoing theme with individuals at Victor Caballero's event. He had an event on Thursday. It was a great crowd, actually, at the event. And, the Devil's Disciples, as Coach mentioned, they were present. And again, it was a great event. The food was amazing. It was at Big Daddy's, great event. But one of the ongoing themes that was being spewed out there was, we got to get rid of Chavez. And again, I've stated publicly, so it's not something you can go like, give the guy a chance. The guy just started. You can't kick someone out when they just, got into the position. I've had a couple of conversations with Dr. Chavez. And again, I think Dr. Chavez is still on that little groove where he's totally understanding. And one of the things that we talked about was the Cummings thing. And, he has this idea that, we're going to go out there and build the CTE building. And I don't mix or hide my words. I told him exactly, sir, it's not going to happen. We're not going to build a CTE building when we haven't even built the Performing Arts Center for the students that we promised us 8 years ago, 10 years ago. So it's just not going to happen. And I think going back into the lying thing, we just don't need individuals out there to make false promises and to go out there and claim as their platform something that is detrimental to the district. And let me say, getting rid of Dr. Chavez right now, just because you don't like Dr. Chavez, is detrimental to the district. I mean, let the guy establish himself at the district.
Well, the deal with Carlos, his whole career, and I'm really surprised by Frank Ortiz, that Frank Ortiz has allowed himself to be Carlos' puppet. Frank Ortiz was a respected principal, longtime educator. And you talk to Frank, and if Carlos is not in the room, he's the kind of guy you want to have a beer with. But as soon as Carlos walks in the room, the guy just stiffens up. And it's really impossible, or to me, incredulous, trying to understand why would Frank Ortiz be this guy's marionette? It makes absolutely no sense. But they vote together all the time. Their strategy, they're like Trump. They want to divide and conquer. Instead of compromising, they want to confront. Everything is a confrontation with them. They don't want to find the middle ground. I mean, like I said, Carlos is so out of control that he's had to be censored by the board, which doesn't surprise us in the least. He doesn't talk to anybody. And as Satan, as the leader of, the Devil's Disciples, he has some really malevolent intentions in this race. And let's go through the race. District 3. Who do we have in District 3, big guy?
District 3, I've got my own little list here. District 3, we have crap. Uh, Victor Caballero against Jessica Gonzalez. Victor Caballero is on the number one slot. Jessica's number two. There's only two individuals in that race. Uh,
Yeah, and I think it needs to be pointed out, even though in this race it's not a factor, that because we have two other races in which we have more than two candidates, a plurality wins. And
oh
for
yeah,
those of you that flunked your civics class, plurality means that whoever gets the most votes wins, and there's no runoff. There's no runoff. Whoever gets the most votes wins. So anyway, Victor and Jessica. Well, obviously, Victor is one of Carlos' lieutenants, and he was the one that was saying, we're going to get rid of Dr. Chavez.
yes,
What a stupid campaign promise to make.
yeah,
It's so negative.
yeah. And I don't know. A lot of times, you know, part of the issue is you get a little group together and you are desperate to tell them what they want to hear. And it's going to happen with it's always happens because the bus drivers, they have their little forum or their little meet and greet. Different other staff have their meet, and they're before the bus drivers, and everyone's going to go out there and promise, we're going to give you a raise, and we're going to give you more hours to work and everything, and it's not going to happen. And every time I've gone before them and they say, oh, that's what are you going to be one that's going to increase our pay? I said, guys, the truth of the matter is it's not going to happen. It doesn't depend on the board. Depends on the budget. It depends on administration, where they want to administer. You could encourage them as much as you want, but you can't make a promise that you just can't keep. It's not going to happen.
Well, you know what I don't understand, Mano, is how people change so dramatically. I'll give Victor a lot of credit. I worked with him at Porter, and he was an excellent principal. Excellent principal. But transitioning from being a principal to a politician, they changed night and day. Of course, he lost by 4,000 votes last time. So he's bitter. And the deal with Carlos is bitter. The deal with Frank had some problems. We're not going to talk about him, but Frank had some problems. He's bitter. So they're like Trump. They're bitter. They're full of grievances. And so Victor, nobody expected. In fact, I thought Victor would win easily. I thought he wouldn't have any problems with Denise. He ends up getting beat by 4,000 votes. And because he's so fanatical, or, he's living in a make-believe world, he wants a recount of 4,000 votes. I mean, if it had been, like Marisa and Minerva, separated by a few votes, I mean, a recount is logical. But when you lose by 4,000 votes and you're demanding a recount, that almost sounds like fanaticism. Now, talking about his opponent, when Jessica ran initially, I thought, well, who the hell is Jessica? What barrio does she come from? And I didn't support her. And I'll give her credit. She has really grown with the job. I mean, she's much more efficient than she was initially, although she was always very outspoken. She has never been one that's afraid. No tiene pelos en la lengua, okay? And I know you've never been a big fan of hers, but I really think that she has grown with the job. I think she's done a good job as the board president. The other day, Rubo Calva, La Chichona, she's up there.
Susan.
I could not believe it. She's up there basically scolding the school district or scolding the board and the principal, saying that teachers are instructing on masturbation and anal sex. What's wrong with these people, And Patricia shut him down. Shut her down. Say, hey, listen, that's enough. Ciao. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's your feeling about that race in general?
Well, I'm going to ask this. It sounds like you prefer the board majority and their actions. Let me tell you.
I'll say I do. I do.
Let me say very simply, I've called out every single action that the majority of the board has made that I think is detrimental to the district. Every single one. And again, part of the issue with BISD and with every single other governmental body out there is that if you want people automatically want to align to this group and to that group. We don't need an individual that's going to be beholden to Satan.
Satan.
As the
Carlos.
captain,
Yeah,
the captain
Satan.
said, we don't need anyone out there
What's
to.
it, Mephistopheles?
No, so
You're the preacher, bro.
Beelzebub.
Beelzebub?
Yeah, but let me say, you don't want someone that's going to be as the beholden to an individual or a group of individuals in there. You need individuals on the boards and on the city commission and on every other governmental body here that are going to be independent thinkers and going to vote for what's right. It's not one. And I'll say this in regards to the Dr. Chavez thing. Look, guys, it's just very, very simple. When I was elected to be on the board, automatically the group out there said, "Erasmo, we've got to get rid of Dr. Sendejas." And I said, "No, that's not what I. That's not what I was elected for. I wasn't elected to get rid of Dr. Sendejas. I want to work with the superintendent that's there. I want to see what they bring to the table."
Are you still with us?
Yeah, I got a text message and I don't know
Okay.
exactly what they said, but again,
I thought you were having one of those brain freezes that poor Biden was having.
once I start not reading the teleprompter, then get me off this damn show.
Okay, there you go.
But
I'll whisper in your ear.
yeah, very close, please, and very gently. But then what happens is once we're in there, then they start presenting all this these numbers and all these things and back and forth. Then you start going berserk in regards to everything going out there, and then decided to vote the way that I was going to vote. Again, I'm not a majority player. I'm more of a what's right player, and that's just as simple as that.
Well, sometimes you're forced into a faction. Okay, anybody that follows this present board, which is a 5-2 board, with Satan and his pitchfork named Ortiz following him. Where they stand on the issue. Just take the firing of the superintendent. Well, another group's going to coalesce against it. So sometimes the dynamics are a result of how people feel. And if Carlos gets the majority, if the devil's disciples win this damn thing, then obviously they're going to have a new majority because they want to fire the superintendent.
Right.
Okay, so what are you going to do as an individual? Well, I'm part of the minority. I'm going to vote to keep them. So a lot of times these alliances are formed as a result of individuals. And when you're dealing with someone like Carlos Elizondo, he expects you to be with him 100% of the time. 100% of the time. Anyway, moving on, big guy. Looking handsome today?
Every day. 2 words, forensic audit. Look, JD, there's no one that's been more vocal about having a forensic audit at BISD than myself. And it's not something that I've used during campaign season.
And not something you do lightly either.
No, it's something that we've been requesting for since the Sylvia Atkinson days. And again, the only one out there that was pounding the tables in regards to having a cavity search type of forensic audit at the district was myself. I was the one that has been vocal about it for years now. And it's very, very much needed. I actually made mention to that to Dr. Chavez when I had a meeting with him. Sir, we need to know, where we're bleeding this money. If we don't know where we're bleeding the money, we're in trouble. It's just as simple as that. We're in trouble if we don't know where the money's bleeding because we're never going to be able to stop it and stop it. But what Coach says is true. I am getting more handsome as time progresses.
No, it's a screen. It's
filtered.
It's a filter. Okay, like Captain Bob's ex-wife, Amanda. Amanda. No one looks better after she goes through the filter than Amanda. And we're here. I'm really happy to hear that Amanda's doing much better.
Yes.
And the more she separates from Captain Bob, the more she's a chance to recover. We wish you the best. God bless you.
God bless you, Amanda. Position 5.
Position 5. We've got Daniela Lopez Valdez. We've got Nelda Rocha. And surprise, Catalina Presas. That's a shocker, isn't it?
Well, one of the things that I think that Katy is hoping is that there's going to be enough pull from Nelda, from Daniela, to whereas Katy. I mean, Katy has her base. She's got her people.
Mano, but she ran that last election against Macias and Ahumada. She had her base. You know what her base was? 22%.
Well,
although this is a little different, but still 22%. That's her base.
Yeah,
people think she's base. That's her problem.
Well, 22% in a district race it's not that bad considering that this is a citywide race. So we'll see her numbers pull on it. But again, as Coach mentioned at first, this is a plurality where if the two other individuals pull from each other, then you have a shot at the top, and it's going to be a very very interesting race. It's going to be very very interesting to have Kati on and have Kati explain what her reasoning is. But I think the reason that there's so many people running right now is that they're very, very dissatisfied with the majority, very, very dissatisfied with the minority, very dissatisfied with everyone out there, as I think that everyone should. We've had actually for a while now an ineffective board in regards to affecting real change at the district to start off with no forensic audit on the table. And again, it's just that simple. We need to know where we're bleeding. But in position five, Nelda is hoping to bring in a lot of the teachers out
Who?
there.
No. But who's Nelda taking orders from? Satan himself. She's part of that group, the devil's disciples. We'll give her the name of Bruja or something. She's running because she's been told to run. She doesn't really have a platform. All she is grievances. To me, Daniela has done a solid job. Daniela is a professional. We're always complaining about passing the torch. Well, I have all the confidence in the world passing the torch to Daniela. I have no confidence in passing the torch to Kata because she'd burn down the main building. Okay. And then Nelda, she's a nobody in the sense of being a politician, in the sense of knowing what's going on. Anybody that falls under the influence of Carlos, I mean, she's so crazy about Carlos, you'd think they were in a romantic relationship. Let's hope it's just platonic, okay? But I'm a real strong advocate of Daniela. I've talked to her many times, articulate, attractive, progressive. I think she's a solid board member. And I think in this race, she's clearly the best candidate, in my opinion. How do you feel about that?
It's going to be an interesting race. I ran against Daniela, and let me tell you, her numbers are very, very impressive. It's going to be an interesting race. Well, and again, going back into the splitting of the vote, will Kati and Nelda pull from each other the same base of people and then let Daniela slide through. I've been critical about Daniela for a lot of the different moves that they made. One of them was, getting hired with a Midi Cultural District, and then the Midi Cultural District all of a sudden having some form of influence at BISD. Again, guys, one of the biggest problems that Bronzeville has is you got individuals in important positions that are not qualified for the position. And when you get that, everything goes to crap. And I think that's one of the biggest complaints right now at the district in regards to the maintenance department and the heads of the maintenance department, not the maintenance department folk, but the heads of the maintenance department that were ill prepared to start off this year, especially with the air conditioning situation at several of our schools. I think it was four or five schools.
I have heard that there's air conditioning problems, and I have this from an excellent source, at 80% of the BISD schools. Now, I don't know if that's absolutely true, but it is a fact that it is a problem. Now, I did find out that no student is in a class that doesn't have air conditioning, okay? So they're not being affected yet. But one of the big problems in the BISD, and it's something that has to be thought about along the terms of whoever wins, whatever majority prevails, it may be time to start talking a bond issue, because one of the problems with the BISD, the facilities aren't what they should be, without a doubt. And the two main problems, air conditioning, which not having air conditioning down here is just absolutely unacceptable, and the roofs. The roofs are in terrible shape. So there is a definite need for improvement in the physical facilities. So that goes without saying.
100%. Whatever happened to giving a chance to look? One of the individuals that was out there many years back that was encouraging Nelda to be a little bit more vocal in regards to running for BISD was myself. And we had this conversation with her, I think, even here on the show publicly. I want Nelda to do well. I want Nelda to go out there and be her own individual. And again, I have confidence that Nelda, if elected, might bring something different to the table. Uh, my concern is you don't want these slates popping up, especially this religious Christian.
The
Uh,
devil's
well,
disciples.
that
And
one.
the bottom line, Sam, bottom line, Carlos recruited her. She's with Carlos 100%. If you like the job that Carlos is doing, if you think he deserves more power to dictate the future of the BISD, then Nelda's your candidate. Nelda's your candidate. Nelda at this point is a puppet who's taking orders. Bottom line, okay? You can say, I don't know what I'm talking about, and most people would probably agree with you. But the bottom line, Nelda is Carlos' right hand or right. What is it for a woman?
Left hand?
Well,
No, no.
you don't need either hand.
Bond really performing arts center, and yes, and this
Uh,
is the conversation again. This is the conversation that I had with Dr. Chavez. This is the conversation that I've had here openly and publicly. Stop lying to the people. There's absolutely no way that BISD will be able to build a CTE building. It's not going to happen. And this was one of the promises that was made during the press conference. And again, right now is what the board majority is pushing. The fact of the matter is, it's never going to happen. They didn't build the Performing Arts Center. They're most definitely not going to build a CTE building. It is not going to happen. It isn't. But again, if they would come out and say, "Hey, we're going to fix Resaca and make it into a high class CTE," that I believe a lot more than you tell me that you're going to build the students a CTE building.
well, and I think the performing arts that's a dream whose time has passed. Everyone recognizes. Imagine having a cake. We're voting for the cake, which is repairing our facilities. We're not voting for the frosting, which would be the performing arts.
Yeah.
The people in Brownsville won't accept it.
Well,
They'll accept the fact that, hey, we need air conditioning. We need roofs improved. We need general repairs. But to include a performing arts center as a part of that would be asking the voters way too much. So I don't think that's reality. Okay. And then the other thing you were mentioning where Kata was hoping that the incumbent and Nelda would split the vote. I actually think that Kata and Nelda will split
for
the
each
vote
other?
for
Yeah.
Daniela.
Yeah, the fact that, and again, I've said this publicly, and I'll say this again: we're not going to get a performing arts center. It's just
No.
not going to happen. I mean,
It's not reasonable.
well, not now. It would have been reasonable 10 years ago when it was proposed, because they even have the land for it. And now one of the promises they're making is that they're going to use that land to build a CTE building. It's not going to happen, and that's just the facts of the matter. We're not going to get a CTE building. We're not going to get a performing arts center. And what Coach says is true, guys. If we don't fix what we have now, in order to fix it 5-10 years down the
200
road,
grand or 200 million.
200 million to fix, guys. That's reality. And again, I've said this and I've said it consistently, guys. If you fix something when there's a couple of problems with it, it'll be a lot more expensive to fix the crap that we have right now. And right now, there's a lot of crap at BISD. And that's very, very unfortunate. Our buildings are deteriorating. Air conditioners don't work. The roofs are leaking. It's not going to happen. Now, we've got two performing arts centers that are like 15 minutes away. We've got one in San Benito and we've got one in Los Fresnos now, which amazes the crap out of me that el Rancho de San Benito y el Rancho de Los Fresnos, they got a performing arts center before we did. And we were the ones that allocated $53 million for it. That money is gone. It's never going to happen. We've got two performing arts centers that are like a couple blocks away. Those are the ones that we're going to use. We're going to continue to rent them out from neighboring districts.
Well, the other thing I don't understand, Erasmo, is what TSC has. Why aren't we using that more? then we're not even using it apparently. And TSC is so dependent on the BISD for its students. Um, I don't understand why I don't use that more often. Anyway,
Yeah.
District 6. In this corner, in that corner, we got a rematch, big guy. We got mano a mano. This is not a love fest.
Left hand and left hand.
Yeah.
We got Marisa Leal.
Boom.
Marisa Leal against Minerva Peña. And Minerva Peña came out with that interesting post. And I think this is where the coach is basing the new name for
The
the
Devil's
group.
Disciples. And
Came
we're
out,
talking about let's get right to what kind of person Minerva is. You know, Joe Biden had the sense to say, you know, I'm through. I'm done.
I'm out.
Okay. Minerva doesn't have the sense to reach that conclusion, even after she was thoroughly beaten, 6 months ago. But here is a woman who's using God, who paints herself as a great Christian, who had the choice of stepping down as a trustee so her daughter-in-law could keep her job at Veterans. And what did she do? She decided that she was more important. And what happened? The poor young lady committed suicide. How does Minerva live with herself? Now she's sending out the Devil's Disciples platform. She's endorsing Victor. She's endorsing Rocha. Obviously, she's endorsing herself, and she's endorsing Farley Trevino. But coming out in the name of God, one of the problems with politics is God and religion. That's your private life. We don't care what you believe about in your private life, but don't bring it into the schools. Don't bring it into the classrooms. I work for a principal that forces us to read religious material. But that's the person she is. She is if anybody is a bigger hypocrite than she is, the only person I could think of would be Mayra Flores. Okay. But Minerva is disturbing that she continues to run, that she continues to believe that she's a positive force. It was really refreshing. Marisa taking her on, very controversial outcome, went to court. Minerva had to sit down. They met in a subsequent race, and Marisa blew her away. And the beauty of Marisa, she understands the BISD. She's a breath of fresh air. God, I'd hate to be around Minerva when she opened her mouth. But this is, to me, in my opinion, bro, this is a black and white election. A selection. There's just who in the right mind would vote for Minerva? She's been there for 20 years and done nothing but create problems.
And again, because I just got a text message. I'm going to make this very clear. Not in support of the majority of the decisions, or a lot of the decisions that this majority has taken. Not in support of them. It never will be. Again, been very vocal.
Now, who are we talking about here? I don't understand the message.
The CTE building is same crap, different day. That's what's right. Don't fire him. Remind him he
Well,
works
don't
for
fire who?
Chavez.
Oh, okay.
He writes for the taxpayers and not the board. Bring him lots of pegs down. And again, guys, not in support of a lot of the decisions that the majority has made. I've been very, very clear on that. But let me tell you, when it comes to we want to fire the superintendent, it's a mistake, guys. It's a mistake, one that we've lived with before in the past. We should not repeat again. When it's making promises in regards to a CTE building, it's a mistake. It's never going to happen. It's a lie. That was Peña under investigation. What a mess. Yes, but for several things. Again, guys, you have to understand, and this is the issue. Minerva Peña aligned herself with Sylvia Atkinson back during the time that Sylvia Atkinson was stealing money from this community, and especially your children. It's just that simple. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. And now she's aligned herself with this little supposedly Christian group. And what bothered me about the post is she calls into question everybody else's, all the other individuals out there.
Believes in God, no?
Yeah, in regards to what they believe or they don't believe. A lot of us may not choose to slap the district with, with our Bibles, slap the district or slap the community with our beliefs. And again, I mean, what if there was someone from a different faith out there running? and again, voted always against a lot of lot of the things that these people believe in when they were trying to give this hope group, which is I think is a big old farce. These we want to give us uh, our time at Sam Stadium for free so that we can have the day of prayer. I was the only one out there that was vocal and said no. Let them pay the correct amount, the amount that everybody else gets charged. And e- everyone, all the pastors and everyone went crazy and said, "That's what's up." I said, "Look, guys, I'm a pastor. I'm ordained. My degree is in theology." And again, I don't believe that just because you belong to a specific religious organization that you should get all the breaks. It's not going to happen. We're not there to serve our religious beliefs. We're there to serve what the community needs. And
Well, and one of the rumors, I mean, this is the kind of person Minerva is. She just plots. She's like Judas, you know. She want to gives the impression that she is one of the apostles, although she is one of the devil disciples, that she's doing what's best for the district. Well, she's always up to no good. She would love to see the superintendent fired and then have Dr. Nelly Cantu placed in his place. And there is probably no administrator in the BISD that has detested more than Dr. Nelly Cantu. Now, if you want to find Nelly Cantu, chances are you can walk in a restaurant and she's sitting there with Carlos Elizondo. So, apesta. Minerva Peña is the worst choice you could make. She's not a Christian, okay? She's a hypocrite, 100%. She and Judas could have been lovers.
Does Coach know what the board majority did to a student? The majority covered felonies. The board is crap. I'm voting for her. What has Leal done? Chavez covered felonies. Serve the kids. Uh, Again, been very very vocal about the situation with the Lucio case, and again, been very very vocal on it, guys. You can't bring in the majority of the individuals out there and blame them for what a certain group have done in regards to it. I mean, the same tactics that were used with the Lucios were the same tactics that they use. So they try to use on myself. They try to use on a lot of different folks. I'm not backing track on it at all. With that said, cannot fire the superintendent on day one. It's not going to happen. And if
Well, Trump says he's going to be a dictator on day one. So why couldn't you fire the superintendent on day one?
or you could, what's Marisa's platform? That's a great question for Marisa. And again, we're hoping that Marisa comes out and sets out her platform. I'm going to say this again. Marisa's only been a board member for a month and a half, 2 months.
A little bit longer. Not much. You're right. You're right.
Take it into consideration. And again, folks, I'm not coming
She
for
doesn't want to fire the superintendent. Let's just start right there. Okay. That's the number one issue as far as we're concerned locally. Obviously, we have the problem with what's the state trying to do in terms of the money.
Back who's holding the money right now?
No, but what's the process called?
Okay.
Where you're giving the parents the money to decide.
Oh, that's a voucher system.
The voucher system. Okay. She's opposed to the voucher system. She's definitely concerned about the administration in terms of some of the underlings. But the bottom line is she's fighting the voucher system. She's against firing the superintendent. And we can go on and on, but those are our major issues. You can break it down to particulars. I mean, we've already seen Minerva for 20 years. We know what she does. Just like Carlos, there's like Trump. They're all predictable. They're absolutely predictable. They think they know everything, and maybe they do. But the difference is they don't care. They don't care. Someone like Carlos, I can see Carlos walking into the superintendent's office, grabbing his huevos and saying, I'm the boss. I'm the boss now. Okay? I can see Carlos doing that. And so when you have one faction that wants to fire the superintendent, led by Satan himself, and helped by the devil disciples. When you have Minerva, who wants her, comadre Nelly put in there, they're not working with good intentions. Okay, they're strictly about power, controlling a $550 million budget, controlling 7,000 jobs, controlling 36,000 kids. It's all about power, and it's not about education with them. It's economics. When it comes to awarding a contract, that's where the division begins. They have their people. They want to go to the Dallas Cowboy football games. So they know if they're one of 4 votes, it's going to be reciprocated. They are untrustworthy. Okay. Now, maybe the majority, and your opinion, isn't doing what you want done exactly. And everybody's sick of politicians. That just goes without saying. All right. But they do, in my estimation, I worked 40 years, been through lots of school boards. They want to do the right thing. Their intentions are honorable. When you take a group led by Carlos Elizondo and Minerva Peña, their intentions are not good. Okay, so that's the bottom line.
They sent me. Marisa's been in as a board member for 78 days. That's great. Take into consider, guys, that she's been there for 78 days. That's fine. Take into consideration, you're talking about summer, when there was absolutely no meetings.
It's too hot to talk.
Included in those 7
We already have
days.
enough hot air, right?
Yeah, and again, I'm not making an excuse for anyone. We need people that are going to do what's right for the kids. It is exactly what I've said. We need individuals to be on that board and on the city commission and on any other governmental body that are going to vote for the right thing, not what's in the best interest of the majority. People are not elected into office to serve a majority, to serve a slate, to serve the Christian group, which now has been baptized as the
devil's disciples.
Yeah, you're not out there, folks, to serve anyone but the individuals that came out to vote for you or for your opponents. Because at the end of the day, the decisions that one makes while sitting on the board affect everyone in the community, not only the individuals that voted you in. And the concerns of the individuals that didn't vote you in should also be a priority for the individual that got voted in. It's just that simple. You leave the election behind and you listen to every single complaint out there and you try to do what's right for the community as a whole. Leal has no platform. Marisa's platform is agree with the majority so she can stay. Again, guys, these are great questions to bring up to Marisa herself personally. What is your platform? Does Louis Leal control your stance? They're great questions that she needs to respond to when asked. The problem is, I'm going to think that a lot of the individuals out there haven't even approached her. I'm not defending anyone out there, but has JD Sierra gone out there and asked Marisa for her platform, what she plans to do, what she's doing? Those are great questions for her to ask.
Precinct or seat number 7. We've got Farley Trevino, Tim Ramirez, Augie Archiego. I don't even know how to say it. And there's a 4th candidate. It skips my mind. Who's the 4th candidate in that race?
I'm going to.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me present
Erasmo Castro.
Erasmo Castro.
On the top slot of that race.
The top slot?
The top slot in that
race. Okay. The top slot.
Slot.
What's that Matamoros accent?
Same. We're very, very fortunate to draw number 1 in place 7, and I'm very proud of it. Again, we know that Coach Farley Trevino, is aligned himself with
Satan.
Well, aligned himself with.
He's a devil disciple. Another one
with this coalition.
And, I brought that up earlier about Victor Caballero. That Victor was an excellent educator. Farley, much loved, great coach. The kids respected him. His colleagues respected him, but he doesn't seem to understand that coaching football and running for political office are 2 different endeavors. He's putting signs where he shouldn't be putting signs. He even confesses that he's a rookie. And, as a head football coach, you're supposed to call the shots. But he's allowed Carlos to be his head football coach and telling him what to do. It's sad to see that happen because Farley is a good person, and I mean I was his colleague for 20 years, so it's a tough business doing what I do because I know everybody or most everybody, and who I don't know, then I just come to this guy. He knows them, and but it's tough when you have to make a stand, and there's just no way I can support Farley. I don't know why he's allowing himself to be used, other than he's ambitious, he's retired, he's bored, and so he decided to enter politics. But there's no doubt that he's controlled by Carlos, and must agree with him that the superintendent needs to go, and really has no knowledge of the inner workings of the BISA. He understands athletics, but beyond that, his knowledge is minimal.
Minimal and
And
limited.
but this race is really interesting because we're talking about the plurality. Well, you have four candidates. Okay, you have four candidates. The winner can win with 26 to 27%, and it's not hard to think that the winner will probably capture about 30%, and that means 70% of the people in the community were voting against that individual. I think I don't think Anduisa has a chance. Okay, if I were going to predict, I'm going to say that he's in fourth place. But there's a rumor out there that Carlos selected Anduisa to take votes away from Tim and Erasmo in order to push Farley through. Like I said, anybody that has any doubts about what Carlos is up to is fooling himself. Okay, Carlos does not care about the BIC, just like Trump. Carlos only cares about himself, and he wants power. Tim, when he served a short time on the board, did a solid job. This guy's legendary, and he told me that this next time, if he serves, that he won't take any more of my advice, because it was my advice that got him into trouble.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do is I'll bring back strawberry milk like I did back then when I was on the board, which was one of probably my greatest accomplishments out there. They wanted to go to the Longhorn game through. I think all the Longhorn games have been sold out.
I'm sure they have their own booth.
Yeah, I want to go to the Longhorn game. So someone call me. Needs to approve vouchers.
Bottom line is vouchers is going to be the death of public schools. The whole conservative movement is to destroy all our institutions, and the two organizations that have done the most to make us a great country, unions and public school education. Eliminating unions, eliminating public school education, you're undermining the foundation of our country. And the vouchers, you'll have all these crazy religious sects, creating a school with 50 people. I spent 40 years in the BIC. You're a graduate of the BISD. Met two wonderful wives through the BISD, educated 6 kids through the BISD. The BISD does one hell of a job. It does a great job. We have great administrators,
great staff,
great kids. We have lots of opportunities that the other schools or the other charters or whatever can't offer. And so vouchers, I'm 100% against it because I believe in our public schools.
No matter how much frustration exists, we just let cool heads prevail, use logic and fiduciary responsibility, accountability, ladies and gentlemen. If anyone has reason to want blood, it's me. I think a lot of...
Why? Teresa, explain it to us why you would want blood. Do you know why she wants blood? Do you know? I'm asking you.
Terry, I think, was a recently retired staff member from BISD. And I think once you're inside the Glass Palace, you see a lot of the wheelings and dealings that go on, and they really, really do disappoint, guys. And again, one of the things that I've stated out there is that a lot of people don't completely understand what happens behind the closed door out there. A lot of us have had the opportunity to be behind that closed door.
I remember one time Kata said she was behind closed doors, and her colleague Rick Zayas, stuck his hand up her thigh. Is that the kind of stuff that goes on behind closed doors?
Let me tell you, and then some. But it's really, really very, very disgusting what happens. And again, this is one of the reasons why, in regards to Minerva Peña is a piece of trash. And again, You may
Well,
see
that's a
this.
compliment for her.
Yeah, this
Have a little more respect for trash, bro.
for she's a piece of crap. Let me tell you, what y'all see is the Minerva Peña that answers text, answers messages, and is out here. What you don't see is the Minerva Peña that is easily manipulated and moved and swayed by an ounce of attention or power that she can get. And that's what's really, really unfortunate. That is what is dangerous and detrimental to this district. And let me tell you, one of the things that the the Minerva Peña little group and the Minerva Peña little platform folks out there have decided on and are going to bat for is to bring Baltasar Salazar back to the district. It's just that simple, guys. They've made a deal with the devil, and this list doesn't surprise
Well,
me.
and he's already contributed to Farley's campaign.
100%. This list doesn't surprise me because we learned that Far, and again, I'm going to mention these names, and nothing against the candidates, but Tasar Salazar has an open account or has deposited money into Fiesta Graphics to go out there and print signs at no expense to Victor Caballero, to Farley, to Nelda, to the same Minerva Peña,
Minerva.
to the same individuals that are on this Christian coalition, or as Coach mentions,
Devil's disciple.
yes, to that little group. So again, guys, it's not what is in the best interest of this district, our staff and our students, to bring individuals like Baltasar Salazar back to this district. And again, those are the wheelings and dealings that happen behind the closed doors that you need to be aware of. It is a danger to anyone and everyone that is in this community. It's just
Well,
simple
and
as
the
that.
bottom line is you're going to have majorities, you're going to have minorities, and what Carlos Elizondo is trying to do is create a majority. Our majority right now, they're allied because they share the same views against Carlos and Frank, okay? But they're not coordinating among themselves to the degree that Carlos and Frank are working together. And once they get the majority, you can believe it from me, knowing Carlos, he's going to command and say what's going on. All right, going back to Teresa, I was just wondering, what was your comment about blood? No one needs more blood. No one knows more blood.
The reason, if anyone has reason to want blood,
Oh,
it's
to
me.
want blood. Okay, I would suggest you check your ancestry and see if Count Dracula was part of your past. That might account for you wanting blood.
But we need to be intelligent about the moves we make. Board members should not be politicians.
Now, that's what they are.
We are voted in as overseers that work for the taxpayer.
Okay, Teresa, it's a fair comment, but once you run for office, you're a politician. You can say, well, I'm not a politician, but vote for me. Okay, once you enter the arena, you're a politician. Okay.
BID will lose more, not because of the vouchers, but because the majority sank the ship. Este vato anda tomado. I think that was yesterday. Right now, he's just recuperating.
No, I'm recuperating.
Yeah.
Although I could use a Bloody Mary, that might help.
Let me. Yeah, that would actually that sounds like pretty good right about now too. Let me say about the voucher system, guys. I will disagree with Coach and other individuals here. I want the taxpayer dollars to go back to the taxpayer, 100%. And again, one of the things that I've always said is, unfortunately for us, we live in a capitalist system. We have to offer a better product out there, and we do at this point. We have the district. We have the best product out there for our students. We have let it deteriorate, and it's not because look, you've got schools in the southmost area. We got 3 that closed down. We got schools in the southmost area that nunca les han dado una manita de gato. They've never gone out there to, fix the facilities and everything. And you got an idea out there that opens a brand new school, brand new campus, guys. Well, of course they're going to want to attract individuals out there. But whose fault is it? Is it the voucher system? Is it the charter school's fault? No, it's the district's fault. And this is why we need to bring individuals on there that are going to go out there and actually put the money back into the community that should be going to the community.
Well, I think we've done a decent job initially covering the elections. They're not till the 5th of November, but we're trying to educate people right now. Let people know who stands with whom. That's the bottom line. All we're trying to do is say who is allied with whom. I happen to like the majority. I think they're doing a decent job. I think their hearts are the right place. The group that would be controlled by Carlos, we might as well get into a kamikaze and dive it straight into the glass palace, although I call it a cardboard box now, the way it looks. But anyway, I want to tie up some loose ends with you, bro. Talking about the county, okay? Most of the Democrats just have token opposition in the county elections. But one that's really interesting, and I still think he'll win easily, is Eddie Garcia. Eddie, I think, has done a good job with the BISD, and I think he'll do a good job as tax collector assessor. But where Democrats are supposed to be uniting right now, Tony Zagiri just can't accept that the girl next door doesn't love him anymore.
Yeah.
And so he's refused to come out and endorse him. And also Sylvia
Garza Perez.
Has, and she's a powerhouse, has decided not to come out public and endorse him. And I'm a Democrat. I wrote a straight ticket Democrat. And to me, in these times with so much at risk, Democrats either stand together as a whole or not. You know, these personal grudges. I mean, Tony, you got beat fair and square, okay? I'll give you credit. Unlike Victor Caballero, you didn't ask to have 2,000 or 3,000 votes recounted because you're smart enough to know that that'd be a waste of money. And as a retired person, take that money and go to Europe for a while. Enjoy your life, man. You look like a damn cadaver.
Yeah.
And enjoy life because we're all going to be dead before too long. So have some fun.
The fact of the matter is, Eddie Garcia will be our next tax collector. That's just the facts, guys. And again, nothing against the Republican candidate. The Republicans here locally, they shoot themselves in the foot regularly, constantly, and it's unfortunate because they're never going to have any type of movement while there's so much infighting in that party. And everyone, the new chair, Deborah Bell, had gone out there and said, "Oh, I'm going to unite the party." It's a bunch of bull crap. You're never going to unite the party when you keep on putting up candidates like Mayra Flores to represent the Republican movement down here. Mayra Flores, I'm sorry, guys, is just not the best candidate to run for Congress. Mayra Flores is a disappointment to the Republican Party, should be a disappointment to the Republican Party. And again, nothing against her as an individual. What I'm saying is she's not the right candidate for the position. She can't speak. Talking points are all dictated by whatever the Republican Party goes out there and says. And I've said this many, many times over again. Our Republican Party down here and our Democrat Party down here is nothing like the Republican and Democrat Party at the national level. It's different. In regards to it's going to be interesting because you do have that little pull from the Democrats, which is Sylvia Garza Perez, who is a powerhouse, guys, in regards to elections, and Tony Zaguirre that carries his own weight, that are going to move away from Eddie Garcia. Even so, Eddie Garcia will be the next Texas collector.
We saw where Tony had all the bigwigs supporting him,
entire county commissioners,
and Tony and Sylvia, they won't go out and vocally fight him. Okay, they'll, entre los comadres, compadres, they'll say, hey, why don't you vote this way or vote that way? Another interesting race that is strictly Democrat against Republican is Jonathan Gracia against, ¿cómo se llama the chava? De San Benito? Janie Lopez. I really think Jonathan's going to win that race.
Oh, yeah. I think Jonathan has run, as always, run an amazing campaign. Let me tell you, no one works these campaigns more than individuals like Jonathan Gracia. And unfortunately for us, again, going back into leading the Democrat movement, Republican movement down here, Janie Lopez is been an embarrassment, guys, an embarrassment to this community, has no sense of what government is, and I'm basing this on a lot of her speeches that have been, recorded and out there on the internet. Guys didn't even know how the decision making process was affected up at the state level. She was already a state representative, and again, Jonathan Garcia is probably going to have no issues in defeating Janie Lopez for that
Well, I
position.
mean, the bottom line is Jonathan is just much more informed. I've even heard she's from San Benito. I've even heard that people in San Benito have turned against her. And last but not least, and you already referred to it, is lovely Maida, Miss Menudo, Miss Frijoles, La Virgen de los Burgos. I mean, she's a farce. She's an absolute. She's Minerva Peña
Minerva Peña,
at the next level.
100%.
And you can say what you want about Chente, la gente con Chente, Vicente Gonzalez, pero he brings a lot of money to the valley.
Oh, yeah.
Or brings a lot of money to our district. The time that Maida was there in Washington, D.C., the only thing she did was get in a fight with Nancy Pelosi. And, she did absolutely nothing. She lost by 11,000 votes last time. I wouldn't be surprised if she's beaten by 15 to 20,000 this time, because Chente, when he ran 2 years ago, we really didn't know him.
No.
Okay. I mean, the district had been gerrymandered, so the gal next door, De La Cruz, could win as a Republican, but we didn't know him. And the one thing about Vicente, Vicente, the one thing about Vicente is he's a consummate pro, and he's brought the party together. And he's really the leader of the party when you think about it, because he's our only face in Washington, D.C. And I don't know of any Democrat that's voting against him. So I really think he's going to win by, like I said, I think he's going to win between 15 and 20,000. And just like from my point of view, okay, I want to see us get rid of Trump and never see him again. I want us to get rid of Minerva Peña and never see her again. And I want us to get rid of Mayra Flores and never see her again. Okay? Those three have got to go, in my opinion.
Let me say, it's, again, I've said this many times over. Is this the best that we can do? Have Mayra Flores represent individuals on the right side of the aisle. And it's unfortunate because we need individuals out there that can speak, that don't tilly-tally out what they're expected to say. And this is the issue that I have with Minerva Slate, the individuals that are out there that Minerva is calling the Christian Coalition. Let me tell you, I will challenge, publicly and openly challenge, anyone from the Christian Coalition, even Minerva Peña, to a theological debate anytime, any place, anywhere. And one of the things that I would hope is that the pastors, because there is a pastors group that I'm actually a part of, the pastors group would hold a forum of all these individuals in order to speak of Christian values. Because one of the things that Coach mentioned out there, when you are a true Christian, you're going to want to, you believe in self-sacrifice. And let me tell you, Minerva Peña had an opportunity to self-sacrifice when it came to her daughter-in-law.
Oh, it's terrible.
And
that is so inexcusable. How can she look at herself in the mirror, that she was so blinded by her political ambition, that this poor young girl trying to keep her job, that she would put herself above this young lady, and then the consequences. The poor girl was so shattered by her mother-in-law's decision that she commits suicide. Minerva, please go away. Yeah. Do us all a favor. Just go away. One last thing before we close here. You know what people are saying about the bloggers and podcasters? Is that the best we can do?
And they're right. Coach, thanks for coming on.
Oh, it's always a pleasure, bro.
And let me say, guys, this community definitely needs something different. Definitely something different. Do not believe the lies. Do not believe the half-truths. Do not believe the political promises. They have gotten us absolutely nowhere. And hold the individuals, hold their feet to the fire every single time that they make mention of anything or they promise something that ultimately they won't be able to deliver. Enough of the little groups out there, and now a new Christian coalition out there. Enough of them. Again, open challenge. I challenge all of them, anyone, even Marisa Leal, to a theological debate. And let me tell you, I'll smoke those mothers, all of them. Guys, have a great day. Social distance, face covering, guys. Be good to each other. Continue to be. God
Unlike
bless.
Minerva, God bless you.